That radio chick Cheryl Lee here with you. Welcome to the Still Rockin It podcast, where we'll have music, news, reviews and interviews with some of our favourite Australian musicians and artists. Today we share a Zoom room chat I had recently with a bass player with Australian rock royalty lineage, Sam Brewster. His great-grandfather was a pianist in the first Adelaide Symphony Orchestra. His grandfather a conductor and cellist. His father and uncle play guitar for Australia's longest-lasting band, legendary The Angels, as does Sam now. What are Sam Brewster and The Angels up to lately? Let's find out. You're with Cheryl Lee, that radio chick, and we are joined in the Zoom room today by Sam Brewster. Thank you for joining us, Sam.
Thank you for having me. I've got Alf here as well. He's just sitting here. Have you ever seen Alf before?
I don't know if I have seen Alf, but he's gorgeous.
He's a good boy.
Hi, Alf.
Yeah, he's missed me. I've been away for a while, so he's all clingy.
Oh, he loves you. A lot of Australian music fans will recognise Sam's name, bass guitarist of The Angels. It was lovely to catch up with you and your beautiful wife at the Adelaide Film Festival at the Nova Cinemas the other week at The Angels documentary. What are your thoughts? Is it the only documentary of The Angels?
There was another one made back in 2008 when they reformed. The film crew just followed them around on that whole tour. That was called... I think it was actually called No Way Get Fucked Fuck Off.
Really?
You haven't seen that one?
I can't believe I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. You can watch it on YouTube.
YouTube?
Even, yeah. I think it's on the YouTube. Anyway, so that was the other one. And that was a bit more like, you know, kind of focused on all the infighting a bit more. This is more of a, they call it the definitive kind of documentary on the Angels, and it kind of more is more representative of, you know, how they started and what they went through in those early days to those formative years. Yeah.
It was a little snippet of you as a little toddler.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So cute. And now you've got a little toddler of your own. You've just dropped your little man off at care today?
Daycare, yeah. Yeah.
How old is he now?
He's almost 2. So, yeah, he's 2 in January.
That's a beautiful age because their personality really starts to come out and shine now.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And I hadn't, I've only got one, obviously, so just sort of working our way through it. You don't know what to expect. It's like I was away only for 5 days and I came home and it's like he's grown like he's got all these new words. I'm like, it's only been 5 days. It's crazy. They're
like sponges. They just soak everything up.
Yeah.
And what's his name?
Humphrey.
Any plans for a playmate for Humphrey?
Oh, maybe, yeah. We'll see. Not right now. But.
The first one's always a bit of shock.
Yeah, for sure.
We ended up having 5.
Yeah, I know. They're all great. Your kids. Very lucky.
Thank you. Sam taught our twins, I think it was, at Adelaide High School. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, just briefly. I was just doing, relief teaching. But, yeah.
Was there any other option for you, Sam, other than, joining the family business when you were growing up? Or was it inevitable? Did you have other plans and it just sort of happened? How did it all begin?
Well, I had other plans. I mean, my dad always said you got to have something to fall back on. So initially, when I finished school and, I went and did hospitality, I always had to do something education in the background. So I did hospitality management course. And then it wasn't really what I wanted to do, so I went and did a music degree, and I was still working in bars and mainly function, events and functions, and then just to, support myself while I went through uni. And then the plan after that was I was going to become a music teacher, because I was already teaching guitar in schools. So yeah, then I did a dip ed online while I was still working. So that worked pretty well. And then, but in 2008, I filled in for my dad when he had the heart attack. So that was when Doc was still in the band, and that was only half a dozen gigs. But it wasn't too much later that Chris got sick. And then they were like, well, Sam's already kind of, knows the repertoire. And so they got me to play bass. And I wasn't a bass player at that stage. I was just a guitar player. So I really had to sort of learn how to play, and so I just really studied Chris's parts because Chris is such a great player. And that was only going to be for until he got better, and then he never did. So unfortunately, so that's why I'm still here.
You are listening to Still Rocking It, the podcast with Cheryl Lee.
We'll be back more to speak to Sam Brewster of legendary Angels family, son of John Brewster, nephew of Rick Brewster. So let's get this song out of the way right up front, shall we? It's the name of the first Angels documentary, and also it's the last song that they sang at the Chris Bailey Memorial Concert at Theberton Theatre. Buzz Bidstrup from Gangajang was there, Diesel, Swanee, Rock and Rob Riley, Wilbur Wild. Everybody turned out to honour Chris Bailey. Am I ever gonna see your face again? You're a great guitar teacher. My son James had a couple of lessons with you, and it's always such a disappointment to me that he didn't continue on with it. Unfortunately, not his passion. He likes to build things. He's an apprentice.
Good. Yeah.
He's an apprentice carpenter now.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah, well, that's a more stable kind of career path than being a muso anyway, so good on him.
Yeah, I'd never give up. He could very well pick it up later. I always hope that he will.
Yeah.
It sort of almost happened organically. As you grew up, you would have just been surrounded by the Angels music right from in utero, probably.
Yeah.
So you almost took it in through your DNA.
And I always liked music, and I started on piano and then switched to guitar at about 12, and I had a band at high school, and actually Nick Norton was at my high school too. He was 3 years above me. So that's another organic thing there. He's come from
Adelaide, hey?
This was actually Sydney.
Well, there you go. Australia. It's a small world, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, I was playing at one of these music nights at my school, and then so was Nick. And my dad saw Nick, and he was singing at this stage, because he sings. He's still really good. I mean, he plays everything. But
And just for those who may not be aware, Dad being John Brewster, founding member of the Angels and one of the legendary Brewster Brothers, along with Sam's Uncle Rick.
He was like, oh, that guy's talented. I want to work with him. So my dad worked with him in his band for quite a while. They got signed to Harry Vander, and I mean, it never really eventuated, but that's kind of his association with how he got into the band as well. So yeah, sort of all pretty organic, and you know, Nick and I know each other so well, so we just sort of lock in. You know, I don't have to think it when I play with him. When he's on the drums, it's just like sweet. It's just easy.
We'll talk about Nick, because he's going to get from behind the drums soon.
Yeah.
One of the new things coming up. But I'll just talk about the other day when we saw you guys at One Electric Day. Geez, It was good to be out. Sunshine, music.
Yeah, for sure.
Little bit of drinking responsibly. Amazing. And I think you guys look like you were enjoying it almost as much as we were, if not more.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we always love doing those gigs, you know. They're always a good vibe with the crew and the other bands, and, you know, I mean, because a lot of the time, like, especially bands like Baby Animals, we're always back-to-back on those bills. So, yeah, they're just, like, kind of one of the family. And they were very good interchanged members during COVID, like you would have seen that.
That's right.
Dario playing and, you know.
You got to play bass in Suzi Quatro's band.
I did, yes.
Yeah.
She came up to me at the start of the gig and she was like, "You're playing bass for me today." I went, "Oh, okay."
Yes, man.
Yeah, that's right. You've got to say yes to Suzi. So I went, yeah. Okay, cool.
I loved it because she gave you her bass and then said, "Don't beep it up."
That's what she always says. I've done it, like, this is like the third tour I think we've done with Suzi.
Yes.
And she says that every time. I think she says it to Dave too. Don't fuck it up.
Don't fuck it up. Goodness me, has she still got it?
Yeah, she's great. Yeah.
If I have an ass like that when I'm 70, I'll be a happy woman.
Yeah. I don't know how old she is. I guess she would be, yeah.
Still Rocking It podcast with that radio chick, Cheryl Lee. Let's hear that song that Sam played bass on, that lead singer of the Angels, Dave Gleeson, has sung a few times now at the end of a show with Suzi Quatro, who, by the way, is aged 72, with the butt of a 22-year-old. Stumblin' in this version, she sings with Chris Norman.
Our love is a lie, and so we begin.
In April, you've got the Brewster Brothers Electric
Yeah.
That's going to be at the Gub. And that's when Nick, the drummer, gets out from behind the drum kit. I'm really looking forward to it.
Cool. So basically, John and Rick, they just love working, even at their age. All they want to do is do gigs. That's what they live for, you know. So Dave's on the road a bit next year. I think at that time there's a bit of a hole in the calendar. And as you've probably seen on that video, when there's a hole in the calendar, you know, it kept coming up in the movie. Like, my dad's like, "Oh, fill that date," you know. So he just wants to play. I mean, you know, we've done that, the Brewster Brothers before. And even back in the day when Doc was in the band in 2008, you know, the Angels would do a run and then the Brewster Brothers would do a run. And I actually played in the Brewster Brothers back then too, and so did Nick. But then it was my dad singing. But this time they just wanted to put Nick out the front mainly because of all the recording we're doing, and you may notice Nick's on some of these tracks singing. Yeah, so they're just like, "Oh, well, we should just get Nick to sing," you know? So we've got, different drummers probably that we'll use in different states, because there's so many good ones.
Guest drummers
played with us. So my brother will probably be playing with us in Sydney.
Cool.
Mick Skelton will do some. Actually, we're doing a recording next week? Yeah. With Ricky Ray, who's the Baby Animals sound guy. And our sound guy for a lot of gigs as well. He's great. He's got a studio in Melbourne, so we're going to go record there with Mick Skelton on the drums. And Nick out front. I think we're going to do Night Attack.
Night Attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to re-image the title track of the 1981 album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just as a Brewster Brothers electric version of it, you know? Yeah.
I'm going to have to get a loan for all these albums. Did you see this one that I just got?
Oh, yeah, I've seen this, yeah. Oh, so you've got a vinyl, you've got a record player.
It's vinyl and it's silver.
Yeah, cool.
That just arrived the other day. Now I've got to get the Night Attack single as well.
Well, actually, I don't know if we're doing that on vinyl yet, but maybe we should.
I haven't seen a vinyl single for 100 years. You can get vinyl albums now. A lot of you guys are bringing out our favourite stuff back on vinyl, which we love. Why don't you do a vinyl single?
Yeah, well, I'll pass that up the chain. Sure.
You'll be ahead of your time.
Yeah.
And you'd only have to pay me a small commission.
Don't worry.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing Nick come out from behind the drums. That's going to be excellent. So that's in April. And then in June, you've got the Symphony of Angels again. I think I've seen it twice before. This, I think, will be the third time playing with an orchestra. How amazing is that?
It's great, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because it's not really... Like, a lot of people are like, "Is that hard?" I'm like, no. It's like just, you know, they've got their own sheets of music and the conductor, and they've just sort of written it to go with what we already do. So, I mean, there are very minor changes to the arrangements that we have to remember, but they're only minor. So it's actually really easy. It just works.
And the sound, it sort of gives the Angels songs a whole new life almost.
Yeah.
Like other people have done it, the Zep Boys have done it, I've seen them, and a few others. But I think with the Angels in particular, because of your musical family history, it's sort of like, you know, full circle, because your great-grandfather was in the orchestra?
Yeah, well, both of them. So great-grandfather was in the first ASO.
Amazing.
As a pianist. And then my grandfather was the conductor of the ASO. He was also a cellist. But he actually conducted my grandfather, I think, on his last performance, and he went up the stairs and he had a heart attack on the way back up the stairs. And that was the end of him.
Oh, dear. Wow. Yeah. At the actual symphony. Yeah.
Yeah, that was at the, what's the building on King William? You were there, we were there once, right? And we did like a gig on the balcony.
Oh, can't remember.
Yeah. It was like 5 years ago or something.
Oh, I do remember. We're the Beatles at Town Hall.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's at Town Hall. That's where he died.
Yeah. Oh, goodness me.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I don't really like the saying, but he died doing what he loved.
He did, yeah.
You know, if you've got to go, you might as well go doing what you love.
Yeah, we've all got to go at some point, so yeah.
Exactly. The Symphony of Angels.
So we've got Rest Point in Hobart later this month, and then QPAC in December, and then we've got another Perth one. And
you've got one here at Her Majesty's?
Yeah, that's next year. These ones have been moved around because of COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, you know, and conflicts with Red Hot Summers.
You are listening to Still Rocking It, the podcast with Cheryl Lee.
We'll be back to speak some more with Sam Brewster very soon, but first, let's listen to Night Attack from the 1981 release, first song on side 2. The boys are re-recording this. Hopefully you'll see it in a single vinyl so that I can retire in the manner I'd like to become accustomed on all the royalties. I was going to ask about being in your own band. So you said you were in a band at high school. Is there any plan to be in another band, or are you going to stay in the family business for a while?
Oh, I think if I try to join another band now, I might end up with a divorce, you know.
You get disowned.
Probably.
Disinherited.
Oh, well, and that, yeah. Nah, look, I mean, I guess if I was to ever do anything else, it'd be just on my own. I've thought about that in the past, and then getting my brothers back involved, because we had a band together, the three of us. It was me on guitar and vocals, my middle brother Tom on drums, Harry on the other guitar, and then we had a bass player. Yeah, and that was great, but everyone was so busy with everything else they were doing, it didn't really work, you know. But yeah, if I was to ever do anything again, it'd just be I'd write and record it all, and then just, you know, probably send it to them and say, can you play over this? And we might do it that way. Yeah,
we have the technology. I think the legacy of the family is in good hands with you and your brothers. What about Humphrey? Has he shown any musical abilities as yet?
We can tap in time. He taps his foot along when I play to him, which is pretty amazing.
See?
And, yeah, it's pretty funny. Organically, without me or anyone coaching him into it, I play a song to him and it gets to the end and he goes, one more song. It's like, you know, like what happens at a gig, which I guess is maybe just it's kind of instilled in people from birth then maybe, you know, yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Oh, we can't wait to watch how he grows into his musical boots.
Yeah, well, I actually hope he follows after his mum rather than, you know, but yeah, we'll see, yeah.
What does mum do?
She's a psychiatrist. A bit more stable of a career, you know, better hours and a bit more conducive to family life, I guess. Yeah.
You mentioned that the bass wasn't necessarily your instrument of choice. What is your favourite instrument? What do you like playing the most?
Well, it is now. Actually.
Has to be now.
Well, yeah, not even just because it has to be, but just because I just
grown to love it.
Yeah, I love it. You know, when I practice at home, it's always on the bass, you know. I play guitar to Humphrey because I've got acoustic, but I don't really do much guitar practice anymore. It's always bass. And, you know, learning jazz tunes and practicing reading and doing all that sort of stuff and, you know, getting better at certain techniques like slap and whatever else. That's what I'm drawn to. So, yeah, I actually just love playing bass. Eventually I'll get an upright bass too. I love the upright bass.
I'm sure you don't drive around in your car listening to Angels songs. What do you like to listen to, Sam, when you're home alone and you can put on whatever you like?
I like a lot of different things, but you know, from jazz and R&B to death metal. One of my favourite bands is Meshuggah, this Swedish death metal band. They play 8-string guitars and there's no melody whatsoever really, but it's just this clinical kind of it's as extreme as you can go with metal. And it's not talking about, you know, eating babies or anything crazy like that. The lyrics are all, even though it sounds like Satan is singing over it or something, it's just you read the lyrics and they're just about kind of I don't know, social observation and things like that. Yeah, I like that band. Got to see them in Sweden actually when we were there at Sweden Rock Festival in 2015, and they came out at 2 a.m. and it was still light at that time of the year. You know, they only get 4 hours of darkness and then the reverse winter. And Rick was there with me, and Rick hates metal, hates it. And he stood and watched the whole thing with me. And he was like, wow, these guys are amazing. Because they are. They're just yeah.
There you go. I thought perhaps you might have surprised me and said something like classical music.
Oh, yeah, I don't mind classical music as well. But, yeah, I don't listen to a lot of it. I mean, I kind of like drums and bass and things, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Death metal is almost as far away from classical music as you can get.
It sort of is, but then it's sort of a lot of it actually, well, a lot of metal is inspired by classical music, especially if you listen to Yngwie Malmsteen or something, you know, those shredder guys. I mean, they're taking all those kind of classical scales and that whole idea, like Paganini, you know, Paganini back in, you know, is a virtuoso. they're sort of like employing those sort of things into metal music. Yeah.
So taking those concepts from...
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of draw inspiration from lots of different genres, right? Like, yeah.
Still Rockin' It podcast with that radio chick, Cheryl Lee. We're Zooming with Sam Brewster, son of John Brewster, Brewster Brother, who along with his brother, Rick Brewster, founding members of legendary Aussie band The Angels. I showed him earlier the Darkroom album, collector's edition, silver vinyl. I thought we'd play the first single from that album, No Secrets. Side 1, track 1, written by Graham Bidstrup and Doc Neeson. And we'll be back shortly to talk more with Sam, son of John, nephew of Rick, very shortly. Down the track, and you may be getting together with your two brothers. What would you call yourself? You can't call yourself the Brewster Brothers.
Well, we can, because there's more of us.
Well, that's right.
We say, well, we outnumber you. No, I don't know what we call it. One of the hardest things to do is to come up with a band name. And every time you think you've got one, you look it up, you Google search it, and it's like, no, that's already a band name.
I think you guys should just do that, just for the pure enjoyment of it, just for the love of it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, I guess, we would. Hopefully we'll at some point. Yeah. Getting it together and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a couple of them live interstate.
They both do, yeah. I only moved here 10 years ago. I grew up in Sydney.
Are you now an Adelaidean, do you think? Are you here to stay?
Absolutely, yep. Yeah, we've bought a house here. My wife works here. Humphrey was born here. It's kind of like, we're so entrenched here now, I don't think there'd be getting out, which is fine because I don't want to get out, but yeah.
You've got your family roots here now. Was your wife born here or did you guys meet in Sydney?
Yeah, we met in Sydney at a gig.
Oh, what a love story.
There you go.
How long have you guys been together now?
13 years or something probably. Yeah, something like that.
And does she love Adelaide too?
Yeah. We were only going to be here for a couple of years while she did her internship, and then she made a really good group of girlfriends, and they're all this girl gang of, that's what I call it. They, hang out all the time, and yeah. So,
you're here to stay now. Well, that's good, because I sort of love it that there's, one of you still here in little old Adelaide, because your dad and your uncle, did they go over there for a while and then came back to Adelaide?
Yeah. Back then you had to move to Sydney because that's where all the work was.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there was still work here, but, and that's where that's where Albert's was, right?
Yeah, that's right.
George and Harry and all of that. I mean, they could just gig all the time, just in Sydney, 7 nights a week. And they still travelled a bit, well, actually a lot, but there was just so much work there. So I guess that's why they did it. And then my dad came back, it would have been early 2000s, maybe 2005 or something, with his wife now, Sue. Because they didn't have a house at that stage and they were just
vagrants.
Oh, they just wanted to go back to Adelaide, because they both love that house that they're in Victor Harbour, so yeah.
Your dad and uncle are proof of my theory that rock and roll is the fountain of youth. I mean, well, you probably do get to see it all the time.
Yeah.
When we're out, in the front row,
yeah,
the absolute joy on their faces as they're playing.
Yeah.
They're just going to go on forever.
They will. They will do it till they can't. They'll probably end up like my great-grandfather,
Walking down the stairs after a gig.
Yep. Well, he was up the stairs. I think that's what caused it, Heart rate went up and he was like, yeah. They will do it till they physically cannot do it anymore.
Can't do it anymore.
They won't do it they will not retire out of, being like, oh, okay, I think I've had enough. They will literally do it until they cannot do it physically, or for some, serious reason. Yeah. Yeah.
We're looking forward to many, many, many more years of the Angels still to come. You lived through Doc leaving and Dave, the new guy, Dave, coming in. He's been with you guys for 10 years now.
Yeah.
Is he still the new guy?
Well, I think he is to some people, yeah. I think some people, still go oh, who's fronting the Angels? And it's like, well,
where have you been? Which rock have you been under?
Yeah, they probably haven't seen the band for 20 years or something, and then they're like, oh, the Angels are coming to my town. Yeah, who's singing for them? Then everyone knows that Doc's gone, so it's probably fair enough, yeah. I mean, even Brian Johnson still gets called a new guy, right? From
Yeah, that's right.
Like, since 81 or something, yeah.
What I love about, Dave joining the band is that it's given the band longevity, and we still, as punters, can go out and see the songs we love, the songs we grew up with, being played live still. So bless Dave for that. And, he had pretty big shoes to fill, and I think he's done a pretty good job.
Yeah, he's great. Dave's great.
So keep him a bit longer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's we're lucky to have him. I mean, that's who he is. He's just the rock front man, and he doesn't have to turn it on. It's just who he is. He just gets out there and he's just sort of born for that role, I guess. Yeah, perfect for it.
A lot of bands don't survive the change of lead singer. So kudos to you guys.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, I guess it's the songs as well, I mean, it's the songs and also the delivery, and the band's got I think the band's got a great chemistry. The four of us, behind Dave, we all play like we mean it, because we do.
You are listening to Still Rocking It, the podcast with Cheryl Lee.
The song now from the Take It to the Streets album, deluxe edition. It's a live version of Take a Long Line, the first album with the new guy, Dave, on vocals. Back for a little bit more of the Zoom room chat with Sam Brewster, the new inverted commas bass player with the Angels.
This is it, folks.
What's the very next thing that we can look on the Googleometer and get along to?
We're going to be on the boat. So
Shut up!
yeah, we're going on the rock the boat.
Already on Facebook, cruise spam.
Right.
Everybody I know is on it, and I'm just like, no, take me.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Have you done it before, Sam?
Yeah. Actually, we did it last time with Suzi Quatro as well. So it's the same lineup again, basically. But also Russell Morris. And I love Russell Morris. So I'm looking forward to that. The last time I saw him, Airlie Beach Festival, and we had Mac McNamee on the drums, and he was great because Nick couldn't get there because of the COVID rules and whatever. We were watching Russell from out the front, and it was just so good. Just his voice and the guitar player that he had, Matt Smith from Thirsty Merc. Yeah, it was just amazing. I just watched the whole thing. It's just perfect mix. It was just, yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing Russell on there as well.
It is a brilliant lineup, and it's a huge boat this time. They've got Cruisin' Country and Rock the Boat together on the one huge boat.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think they must have retired the old boat or something. I think it was pretty old. Like, it was still good, but yeah.
Are you going next year?
No, we're not on that one. Who is on that one?
Another great Adelaide boy is on it.
Who's
so
that?
Barnesy's on it.
Jimmy Barnes. Oh, so he's the headliner. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, sweet.
I've only ever been once, and it's fabulous, and was in 2015 when Barnesy was on it.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I'm pretty jealous. So, hey, don't you have to get on a plane or something?
We're getting on at Noumea this time. So we'll meet it there. It sort of shortens it a bit for us. We're away for a whole week. Sort of decided that because we're so busy, with other things that we're doing, and, me personally, because I'm the tour manager for the band now, so I book it all. And I just, said to the guys, do you want to just get on Noumea? Because that's what Suzi Quatro does. Shaves about 3 or 4 days off.
Of just sort of sitting around.
Oh, there's plenty to do, and there's a gym on board, and last time I just went to the gym every day as well, and then you can do that, and then the Arvo go have a beer with Norton or something, and there's plenty to do, plenty of bands to watch, and all of that. It's more just the time away, like especially for me with Humphrey.
Yeah.
And he gets quite upset after about day 4. He's like, "Where's Daddy?" So
Aww.
Yeah,
so cute.
Yeah, to make I'm like, my wife told. It's not like there's nothing kind of where she's like, "You got to come home." It's just more like, "Oh, Humphrey's really sad,"
Aw, not taking the family with you?
Nah, well, my wife gets seasick, and also I thought, Humphrey's probably a bit young for that environment. He'd probably be the only 2-year-old on it, I reckon. Well, from what I've seen last time,
It's a party boat, isn't it?
It's a party boat, and then, lots of people drinking their packages,
Not drinking responsibly.
Oh, that's all right. I mean, I don't care about that, but it's like, little Humphrey's running around, and they'll probably be like,
You are very smart, because my husband and I took our 5, not on a rock the boat, but on a cruise, and Charlie, the little one, was only really little, and I literally spent the whole cruise going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4,
right.
5.
Yep. Yeah, I guess it's that. I mean, it's probably like, if it was just a regular cruise, it'd probably be fine, but, and because we've only got 1, not 5. That's crazy. I don't know how you do that. But anyway, even my mum had 3, and I said to my mum, how do you do that? Like, how does that work?
And 3 boys.
That's right. Yeah, it was all right. But I think it's probably different times back then too, right? Like, when I was growing up, you could just go out in the street and your mum would call you back for dinner or whatever.
When the street lights came on.
Exactly. It was all that, so we're out like riding skateboards and doing whatever. And
Yeah, great childhood.
Yeah.
So the boat is sold out, and if you're not on the boat now, you've missed it, pretty much.
Yeah.
What have you got after the boat?
We're a couple of days at home, and then we go and record with the Brewster Brothers electric thing with Mick Skelton on the drums and at Ricky Ray's, and then that's the day before we do One Electric Day in Melbourne. So we've got 2 of those, and then I think we go to Perth, UPAC, to do the symphony, then Brisbane to do the symphony. We've got 2 of those, and then we've got 3 bridges now at the end of the year. And they'll be the last 3 gigs to take us up to Christmas. And then we start again in early January.
Get onto the Googleometer. It's theangels.com.
Theangels.com.au.
And there you can get all your merch. You can get the latest vinyl, and hopefully soon a single as well.
Yeah, maybe a vinyl single.
Yep. You can see where to catch the Angels or the Brewster Brothers Electric Symphony of Angels in your town. Thanks again, Sam, for spending some time with us this morning. It's been great having a chat. All the best with the family business.
Cheers.
Look forward to one day in the near future seeing you and your 2 brothers playing.
Yeah, we might have to get that into gear. Maybe after the 50th year of the Angels, because that's in 2024. So that's going to be a very big year for the band, 2024, which will be good. There'll be a new double album coming out, or maybe, who knows, it might be more than double. But yeah, we've got some big plans for the 50th year. Well,
we look forward to being able to catch up with you a lot that year, and hopefully we'll catch you again a few times before then. I look forward to seeing you big kick.
Oh, yeah. I actually do that because I did it once, and my brothers, years ago, they gave me so much shit about it, so I just said, okay, well, I'm going to do that every gig now. Just double down on it.
Well, I told my husband, get Sam's kick. Of course, he missed it.
It's become a thing now. It's just ridiculous. It's like Athel, Athel.
Yeah.
He was playing with Dave once. He was playing bass for Take a Long Line, and he goes, I'm playing bass on Take a Long Line. He didn't ask me how the song went. He just goes, do you stretch your hamstrings before you do the kick? I'm like, what are you talking about, mate? It was more important for him to know
that's
the kick or something. It's like,
that's the important thing. You have to get the kick right.
Yeah.
If I miss it next time, you'll have to do 2.
I do 2. Always 2, and that's it.
Oh, that's it.
That's it. Draw the line at 2. I'm not going to be kicking around the stage like an idiot. So I just do 2 and I draw the line there.
You have to give me a warning.
Well, it's in the first verse and the third verse, I think, because it's on a push D. Da-da-da,
There you go.
Da-da-da-da. There, that's where the kick happens.
Well, now I know. I'll be able to capture it next time.
Yeah.
Your little dog, look at him. He's just been there the whole time, sitting patiently, loving it. What a cutie. Alrighty, Sam. Have a great day. Have a great cruise.
Yeah, cheers.
So jealous. I'll see you when you get back.
Sounds good.
I'll see you down the front.
Yeah, awesome.
Thanks a lot. Ta-da.
Hey, Cheryl. Cheers.
Still Rocking It podcast with that radio chick, Cheryl Lee. There's so many great Angels hits to choose from to go out with, but I thought I might play something that maybe you haven't heard before, Grange, a ZZ Top cover. And I actually watched the Brewster boys and Dave record this at Mix Masters Studios in Adelaide a few years ago. Great song, great version.
Rumors spreading round in that Texas town about a shack out.
You're with Cheryl Lee, that radio chick. Thank you so much for joining me on the Still Rocking It podcast. Hope to catch you again next time. Get out when you can, support Aussie music, and I'll see you down the front.